Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of Top End Track Talk. I'm Andrew O'Toole, and today we'll be having a look at this coming Saturday's very popular race day. It's Tab Burnborough Club Race Day on the 22nd of June. With the first day of the Great Northern Darwin Cup Carnival only a fortnight away, this Saturday's meeting is a key fixture, especially for the 3-year-olds targeting the $75,000 Hot 100 Guineas on day one of the carnival, the 6th of July. Ballot-free exemption into the Guineas is on the line for the winners of the 3-year-old 1,300 metre event and the 0 to 58 1,600 on Saturday, so those races especially are eagerly anticipated. A 7-race card awaits us this weekend with some tough contests to sort out, but we'll do our best to see if we can come up with a winner or three. The first race gets underway at 1:22 p.m. Northern Territory time, and in the opener, the Millennium Insurance Handicap, a Class 2 event over 1,200. My numbers are 2, 1, 3 and 5. Going here with number 2, Kronos from the Victorian stable of Stephen Brown, and Mitchell Aiken, the apprentice, takes the mount here. Kronos hasn't raced since the 5th of January, but has had a trial recently. That was before he left Victoria on the 13th of May at Tatura, won that trial. This horse was here last year as a 3-year-old and had 3 starts on the track. A very impressive winner first up over 1,200. He then finished second in the Guineas and then third later on in the carnival. He handles this track. By all accounts, he's been doing everything right, and I've got him on top in what's going to be a really good start to the day. 2 for me, ahead of number 1, Bolek from the Neil Dyer stable, and Terry Treichel. Good to see Terry with a winner on his first day last week here in Darwin. He takes the mount. Bolek has some pretty good form in the southern states. Hasn't raced since the 7th of December, but did trial well here just the other week, so he has to be considered. In for third, number 3, Dancer's Kin. Dan Morgan for David Bates. David back in the winner's circle last week with Needy Rocket. So his little team starting to fire. And Dancer's Kin, better run the other day behind Patriot Day after a disappointing effort at Adelaide River. The 1,200's probably the key to him. And my fourth selection is number 5, Johnny Handsome, a newcomer to the Tayan Halter stable. Vanessa Arnott takes the mount. Those numbers 2, 1, 3 and 5. The second's the Burnborough Club Handicap. It's the 0 to 58 over 1,100 metres. Numbers here 2, 5, 1 and 4. Going here with a newcomer to Darwin in Alberta Magic, Kim Gladwin for Gary Clark. I found this a really tough race to work out, but Alberta Magic has some half-decent form in the southern states. This is the first run in the top end for this 4-year-old mare by Magic Albert. We know the Magic Alberts handle the track here, and with 1 win and 3 seconds from 11 starts, I'm prepared to risk number 2, Alberta Magic, first up on the track. Number 5, my second selection, Tiger Trap from the Dick Leach stable. Sonia Wiseman aboard. That combo's going really well. Sonia's really hitting her straps here in the lead up to the carnival. Was a winner at Adelaide River 2 starts back, and then 4th behind Mulk just a week ago, beaten about 7 lengths on that occasion, but this event I think is a little easier, and I've got it in to run second. Third selection, number 1, Cleese, the Alice Springs trained galloper from the Kevin Lamprick stable. Barry Huppett's aboard. He hasn't raced since the 27th of April, Cleese. He's raced here before, has yet to win a race, but he's had 3/3, a 4th and a 5th, so I think gets his chance on Saturday. And in for 4th, number 4, Beau Garçon. 2, 5, 1 and 4. The third is today's feature, the Tab Burnborough Club Cup. Over the 1,000 metres, it's the open handicap, of course. Unfortunately, just a small field assembled for the day's feature, but doesn't make it any easier to work out. 4, 1, 2 and 5 for me. I'm going here with number 4, Brooklyn from the Carl Spry stable, and Kim Gladwin takes the mount at the 55 kilograms. Racing really well, Brooklyn. He's a 6-year-old now, consistent type. His last 2 runs have been really good. He got beaten a nose 2 starts back by Marble Duke over this trip, and then last time out at the 1,100 metres, he proved no match for Quantum Dot, but clearly second on that occasion. The 1,000 metres suits him, and I think in this small field he gets his chance. Number 4, Brooklyn on top for me. Ahead of 1, Suspense. Interesting runner from the Paul and Tracy Templeton stable. Wayne Davis takes the mount. Formerly trained by Peter and Paul Snowden in Sydney, he has very good Sydney and Victorian form. He did trial here a couple of weeks ago, and I was impressed with the way he trialled. carries 59 kilograms, but he is the winner of over 300,000, so he deserves every kilo of that, and I've got him in to run second. In for third, number 2, Murphy's Reward, Neil Dyer and Terry Treichel, the combo. This horse trialled in the same trial behind Suspense and was only beaten a lip on that occasion. He also has decent Victorian form. And in for fourth, number 5, a newcomer, Tycoon Dancer, Angela Forster and Ray Viger. 4, 1, 2 and 5. The fourth's the Coolalinga Mowers Handicap. Great to see Trig sponsoring on this day. He's a great supporter of racing in the top end as Trigger. This is the 0 to 64 over the 1600 metres. My numbers here, 6, 3, 8 and 7. Going with the Neil Dyer train, number 6, Mutin, Terry Treichel. Good to see Terry here in the top end. Obviously a very experienced rider in northern New South Wales and in Queensland, and he has the mount here on Mutin. Just the one start in the top end. That was on the 8th of June. A couple of weeks ago behind Bridgie Flyer. Hit the line really well over the 1300, only to go down narrowly, and I think the 1600 is right up his alley. I've got him on top. Number 6, Mutin, a 5-year-old by Sepoy. To beat number 3, Taciturn, always has to be considered over 1600 metres in this sort of grade. Brendan Davis for Gary Clark, a winner 2 starts back, and then disappointed a little at Adelaide River, but back on his favoured surface here. Must be in the party. In for third, number 8, Skeldak from the Emma Steele stable. Raymond Viger aboard, only the 2 runs in Darwin, for a 5th and a 3rd the other day behind Count of Essex. And my 4th selection, number 7, Caradoc Kid from the Paula Trenwith Yard. Great to see Paula back with runners here in Darwin. Of course, she won the Cup a few years ago with the exceptional horse in Nozzy. Paul Denton takes the mount. This horse trialled earlier this week, and I was impressed with the way he hit the line. 6, 3, 8 and 7. The 5th, the Wildlands Wetlands Safari Handicap. It's a bit of a mouthful for our commentator, Craig Sant. I'm sure he'll get it out. The 0 to 58 over 1600 metres. And my numbers here, 2, 4, 3 and 1. As we mentioned in the preview, this is one of the 2 events on the day that gives the 3-year-olds ballot exemption into the Guineas if they happen to win it. There's 3 3-year-olds engaged here, Extraction, It's Magic and Country Cop. But I'm actually going here with number 2, Count of Essex, to follow up last week's win with another victory. That was 1600 last week. Sonia Wiseman stays aboard for Gary Clark. And I think now that Count of Essex has found winning form, he might just go on with the job. 2 on top for me. Ahead of number 4, It's Magic. Paul Shires for Heather Lehman. Good run first up on the track behind the stablemate in Tomb Raider. Finished 3rd on that occasion. The step up to the mile looks like it will suit It's Magic. And for third, we're going here with number 3, Extraction. Carl Spry trains and rides. This horse was impressive, winning on the grass at Adelaide River. That was 1200, so stepping up to the mile. But Carl wouldn't be running him over this trip if he didn't think he would be competitive. And in for 4th, number 1, Borlung, broke through for his maiden win at his 19th start last time out. Jared Todd for Emma Steele. 2, 4, 3 and 1. Race 6 is the MGA Insurance Brokers Handicap. It's the 3-year-old Class 6 event, the most eagerly anticipated race on the day's card to my eye. Obviously the main lead up to the Guineas in a fortnight, and as with the previous race, this one gives ballot free exemption to the winner. My numbers here, 1, 2, 8 and 7 in what's a really good field of 10 runners. Number 1 on top for me, Poets Landing from the Lloyd Kennewell stable in Caulfield. Paul Shires aboard, and Poets Landing recently been racing in Queensland, raced pretty well there, including a last start win at Ipswich over 1710 metres, so certainly no trouble with him getting the Guineas trip in a fortnight, but I think the 1300 will still suit him. First up on this track, probably the only question mark, but he's certainly a horse with a bit of class. He's had 7 starts, 3 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd, and I'm prepared to risk him first up on the track. 1 for me, Poets Landing, ahead of 2, Pagman from the Gary Clark stable, and Kimmy Gladwin takes the mount. This horse has had a freshen up since racing in Alice Springs. His last 2 runs down there were 2nd placings behind Sava 2XL, and that's justified. He's a pretty smart young horse, and I think getting towards the Guineas will make his presence felt here on Saturday. In for third, number 8, Tomb Raider. It was impressive winning last time out, and Brendan Davis stays on for Heather Lehman. That's a pretty significant riding engagement, I believe. And in for 4th, number 7, Go Gold Coast. He finished 2nd to Tomb Raider last time out. Sonia Wiseman for John Peacock. 1, 2, 8 and 7, my numbers in the second last. And the last of a bumper card of 7 races as we turn the page. The HIQA Geotechnical Handicap. It's over 1,300 metres as well. Benchmark 76 event, and a really interesting race as well to complete the day. I'm going here with 3, 5, 7 and 11 as my numbers. 3 on top, Quantum Dot. He's won his last 3, Tennant Creek and then 2 here in Darwin. Sheila Arnold trains. Paul Shires aboard, could be in for a half-decent day, Paul. And this horse has been ridden to his last 2 wins by Jared Todd. But Jared not riding this week. He's actually on the wild side. So read into that what you will. But I think Quantum Dot, 1,300 metres, Sheila believes is his best trip. He did win at 1,100 last time. But I think the 1,300 right up his alley this week. Got him on top, number 3, Quantum Dot. Ahead of number 5, and that is Ice Flow from the Greg Connor stable. And Raymond Viger aboard. Raced here on the 8th of June, finished 4th on that occasion behind Quantum Dot, beaten 6.5 lengths, but I think with that run under his belt here in the top end, he could race well. In for 3rd, number 7, Downhearted. Gary Clark, the trainer, Brendan Davis in the saddle. This horse hasn't raced since finishing 4th in the Alice Springs Cup back on the first Monday in May, but in a fresh state over 1,300, I think he could make his presence felt. And my 4th selection, number 11, Mazzaro, another one having his first start back in the top end since an Alice Springs campaign. And Barry Huppets takes the mount for Tayan Holter. The best bet of the day comes up in race 7, number 3, Quantum Dot. He's just racing so well and so consistently for Sheila and Keith Arnold that I've got him as my best bet of the day. Race 7, number 3, Quantum Dot. Well, the best roughie comes up in race 4, number 7, Caradoc Kid, trained by Paula Trenwith. Just like the way this horse trialled earlier this week. Well, that wraps up this edition of Top End Track Talk, but we'll be back again next week in advance of the traditional lead-up day to the carnival. We call it Day 0. Of course, it's Tab Rowant Gold Cup Day, and that's set down for the 29th of June. Until then, good luck and good punting.